Okay, guys, so what we're going to do, I'm going to introduce each one of your characters individually. We'll start with Jinx on the left here, and then we'll just go through as you can see it on the stream, and then we'll get going. So we're not actually in the game world yet, so we're just going to do a quick introduction for all of you, for anyone that's new here, and then we'll get playing.
That's good.
So this is Jinx Anvilfist. You are a Tiefling cleric. Would you like to tell the stream a little bit about your character, what you gave for a background, and the idea behind your character?
Yeah. I'll is kind of hidden in mystery, but for the most part, my character is a wandering cleric. Very past. Spent a lot of time dealing with churches and doing missionary things. And that's about it for now.
Cool. I like it. Yeah, you can keep it as mysterious as you want. I like it a lot. I really like the design of the character, and I'm excited to see what you do with it. Next up is going to be Goldu, I believe. Yeah, all right. Goldu, the halfling rogue played by Donald Dim. What's up, man?
Goldu, very good Elfling, rogue. Very trustworthy. You have to trust him. Very good at sneaking
Right.
and everything because he's small. A very best friend. You can always be friend with him. Trust him, and that's all. Trust.
That's pretty much his middle name is Trust, right?
Trustworthy.
Okay, I like it, man. All right, that's perfect. That's all you need to know about Goldu. All right, the next character I think was Chad. Let's see. Vampire King. What do you know, man? Chad Supreme, the Dragonborn barbarian. Tell me about him.
Well, all Chad knows is that Chad does. And what Chad does is everything, and he does it well, to perfection.
All right.
And beyond that, Chad pretty much doesn't know anything else.
He doesn't need to, right?
No, he pretty much, when he enters the room, people are gonna know.
I mean, look at that strength, 17 strength, and he's very charismatic. Like, you don't need anything else. He's beautiful, Chad.
It's Chad.
All right, I love it, man. I love it. I'm super excited for this character. And last but very much not least, we have Darrow Morningwood. Samurai, your seafaring half-elf bard with bagpipes, one of the most interesting character designs on the party. What would you like to say about Darrow?
Daryl's he's from a family that likes to fight. You know, that's pretty much it. He likes to fight, but he doesn't like fighting. And he's pretty attracted to Chad right now, so it's kind of weird. But you know,
interesting. That might be a dynamic we are gonna have to explore. So, you said he was a seafaring person. I just want to get into that a little bit. And he's from a family that likes to fight. So how did he get into being a bard? Is he like the guy that's playing the theme music to the brawls that are happening?
Yeah, pretty much exactly. His family's take ships into battle.
Okay.
And he was the guy that's literally standing on the stern, playing its bagpipes, getting everybody riled up.
He's playing like the battle hymns.
Where they raid one of these towns.
Hyped up.
Exactly. We're gonna hear a few of those, you know. But right now, we're just gonna.
I like it.
We're gonna keep it together.
Cool.
It's kind of hard to bring myself back from the States, so you know.
All right. So we will we'll jump right into it here. Just 1 second, everybody. Bring the party back up. Okay, so if you guys remember from the introduction stream where we left off, Rabble had been on this mission from her kind of elder god to collect the five of you, the four of you, and the elder character. And you are all mysteriously transported from where you were in the Forgotten Realms, in your various cities and hometowns and travels, and you awoke in this desert. You were transported in these mystical, like pink bubbles that, as soon as the bubble dissolved, you were just kind of unconscious in this desert, and you woke up and all you could see was each other. And when you wake up, you realize that you're all standing up and you don't know any of each other. There's just the five of you standing there and this little child who is right next to this armored, like, sorcerer, mysterious looking elder character. None of you know each other's names yet. And you all kind of start talking to each other and trying to figure out what's going on. And you see that Elder is hurt. The guy in the big suit of armor and like with the various weaponry sitting around him, and the kid next to him. And the child actually realized that he was hurt as soon as you all woke up, and you kind of just see that the kid is scrambling and trying to like shake this man on the ground, and he's kind of like just like sputtering blood and not doing so well. So what do you guys want to do?
I go to the keenness of the party. Want to see if he can speak our tongue.
Okay. Do you want to try to talk to the kid, or go over and see if you can talk to the man who's lying on the ground injured?
I scream at him from afar because I do not trust.
Oh, you don't. Okay. So
Yo, are you okay?
there you go. So you're all kind of just like startled that you see this like injured man as soon as you wake up. So Goldu and Chad are both like, hey man, are you all right? And this kid turns to you and realizes that there's like other people who have appeared in this desert as well. And he's like, he's hurt. I don't know what happened. He was fine, and then we got teleported here, and now he's hurt somehow. And you notice that he doesn't seem to have any like physical injuries anywhere. He just is like doubled over, lying on the ground, and he's like kind of spitting out blood, and he looks really phased and out of it. And so you all kind of rush over to him, and the kid says, I don't even know this guy. I just went to see my dad in the jail cell, and he wasn't there. And this man was there, and that crazy tiefling lady teleported us here, but she didn't make it into the bubble in time, and she isn't here with us. And then you see the elder kind of come to a little bit and wake up and say, like, I have no idea what just happened, but I feel like something inside of me is like really hurt, and I'm not doing very well. So you guys kind of take a minute, introduce yourselves to each other, and talk about what you all were doing when you got teleported here. And you all weren't doing anything that was really too out of the ordinary. You were just going about your business and your lives, and you all got teleported here, and you don't understand what you all have in common. So you take a second. Elder kind of seems like he's regained a little bit of his composure. He still is like pretty weak, and maybe he lost a decent amount of blood from whatever happened to him. But you all kind of get up, and you take a look around, and you see all surrounding you is just this massive desert with huge dunes, and you can see a little bit of like cactus like plant life and small lizards running around the place. And Elder says, well, the first thing we need to do is get somewhere safe and somewhere that obviously we can survive. We're not going to make it out here very long. I am not going to be able to like really help fight or anything like that, and obviously this kid is not going to be able to. Speaking of which, kid, what is your name? And he turns to all of you and says, my name's Kit. And Elder says, okay, well, me and Kit are not going to be able to fight anybody, so you guys are going to have to kind of protect us if anything goes down. And
Wait a second. Why do you
Okay.
protect? I don't know you. But playing. I was doing some trading. I was about to sell my fucking
That
horse.
was the
Huge
very
horse.
first thing I can
was
agree
gonna
with
get
this
some
entire
money.
thing. I don't trust any of you. I don't know any of you.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah,
Silver
Red
Dragon,
Speed is
what's your
wild.
name, man? I invite you back to my
Yeah.
boat, but it seems to be gone, man. You were in the desert.
Chad just left his homeland, and then he got teleported here.
You
Chad
always
came from
speak
a
in
place
third
where
person?
he always, because everybody's
it.
Like it.
Chad. They just haven't realized it yet.
Everyone's Chad, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
look, I see your cousin on the front here. Look, the
Stop
little lizard.
talking, short
That's a
guy.
good
Come on. You've just been talking a lot. Come on. I'm talking to Chad.
Okay.
What you-
So,
Yeah, I got teleported here. I was really confused. Now I'm
So-
supposed to win.
Elder realizes you guys are kind of like going crazy here, and he's like, okay, I understand. None of us know who each other are. We have not had enough time for like real formal introductions and getting to know each other yet. I know none of us can trust each other, but regardless of whether or not you guys want to protect me and Kit here, we do need to get to safety. I'm gonna go no matter what, so you guys are welcome to join me. Goldu, you said your name was? If you do end up helping me, I promise that we'll find some way to pay you back for it in the future. And you all look around, and very far in the west, which you're just guessing it's west because that's the way that the sun is setting, but you don't really know where you are, so you're just kind of taking a guess that that's even a fact in this place. So you look way off to the west, and you can see the faintest line on the horizon that looks like it maybe is a tree line. And to the north, you can see an outcropping of these big rocks that look like there could be a little bit of a shelter or something there. And that's way closer. It's only maybe a mile away to the north. So Elder says, well, it looks like we have two options here because going any other direction just goes further into the desert. So do you guys want to go check out those rocks and see if there's anything that could maybe give us some shelter there? Or should we head towards that tree line and see if there's any escape from this sand?
I would rather go to the jungle because I am
From
quite
your
hungry.
experience,
I don't
I can-
want to hit
Chad's
the
feeling
brother
crazy.
of my fellow Chaddy.
All right. We're going to have to figure out a way to hear all of you guys when other people are talking. So what did you say, Jinx?
We can't hear you anymore.
You guys can't hear me?
Can't hear Jinx.
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Apparently it's just me cutting out. Oh, okay. I know. I'm dumb. Anyways, I was just saying from I like trees. I don't like being in the desert. But if it's gonna be nighttime, I'd rather be in an open space where I can see my surroundings than in a closed-off space where I can get ambushed.
I
Okay.
have to agree with the demon thing. Sand
Right.
sucks. Let's go.
Yes, for his good, yes.
So
Demon Chad raises a good point.
the you can see that the tree line, the possible tree line in the distance, looks like it's like the total like farthest point on the horizon that you can see. Like this looks like maybe at least a full day's journey, and this rock outcropping is only about a mile away. So it's up to you guys if you want to embark on this journey or if you want to go to the close by place. It's I'm not influencing you whatsoever. Are you all voting to embark to the horizon?
To the forest, we go.
I think first
Yeah.
we should see if Elder and Kid are up for the.
No, they die. They don't have money. They die.
You don't know what they have actually.
Well,
Hey,
can
let's
I
make
check?
sure everyone can make the walk.
I
Or
asked
the
them what
journey.
they have to offer for their life.
I mean, it's all he
This is
promised.
Cruel. No, you can talk a lot, but you do not say the truth.
So Donald, I would actually like you to make a perception check. Goldu, I mean, I apologize. So look at your perception skill, and then roll a d20 and add your perception to that.
Where do I see my perception?
On your character sheet, your perception is to the right of your stats under your skills. And if you have any, if you are proficient in perception, then there will be a little check mark next to it.
Oh yeah, I have 1 point in persuasion.
Okay. Which is wisdom. Your wisdom modifier is 0. So roll a d20.
Oh, I have 0. No, persuasion is charisma.
Perception, not persuasion.
Oh, I have 0.
Okay, so roll a d20 and just take the number.
Do I click on the...
The dice, the dice on the left side of roll 20, yeah.
Did it work?
Yep, okay, you rolled a 12. So with a 12 in perception, you take a look at Elder and Kit and see if they are kind of in fighting shape, and like you kind of size them up and see if you could take them if you really needed to, and see if they're worth protecting or not. And you look at Elder and you see that even though he like looks like he's injured and he said that he didn't want to fight, he's obviously in extremely expensive and like nice looking armor, and he's like decked out in like multiple different weapon types, and he's a pretty big guy, and he probably could defend himself from whatever you were going to try to do, and he probably wouldn't take kindly to you threatening his life over his gold at this moment in time. And
All
Kit,
right.
you could definitely kick his ass, but he's a little kid, and I don't think anyone else in the party would be a big fan of you trying that quite yet.
I'm gonna ignore all you people, and I'm gonna go see what's wrong with this guy. And Jinx is just gonna walk over there and start checking out the Elder. See what's wrong. See if Jinx can do anything.
Okay.
I'm mesmerized by Chad.
Wrong. What feels wrong? Are you okay?
So Elder just says, thanks for the concern. I think that something just went wrong with whatever crazy teleportation spell that was, and it kind of just threw me for a loop there. I think I may have just like sustained a little bit of internal damage, if that makes sense. I don't think that I'm like gravely wounded at all. Just a little bit hurt, but I appreciate the concern. And he reaches out and shakes her hand and says, tieflings get a bad rap, but I haven't met one yet that I didn't get along with, so thank you.
I have just a
do you
question
need help
outside
walking?
the story.
Hang on 1 second.
You can go first.
I just have a question.
Okay.
If they're talking, can we hear what they say, or do we have to say?
So yeah, if you guys are like within the kind of close radius of each other, well, you all kind of can hear what each other's saying. If you're in separate locations, then your character won't know what happened in a certain conversation with other characters if they weren't there. So that's up to you guys if you want to share that information with each other when your characters kind of come back together. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
cool. Yeah, thanks.
Cool. All right. So, Elder kind of heard you guys saying that you all would just want to like beeline towards the trees in the distance on the horizon, and Elder said, I think that I would be up for that, and I think I'd be okay if we try to make it there, but we probably should leave quick because I can't really tell what time of day it is. The sun's starting to get pretty high. It might be like almost noon already, and it looks like a really long journey ahead. So we're gonna have to get out of here if that's what you guys want to do.
Yeah, let's get out of here. Traveling by daylight's probably the best idea.
Okay. So
I agree. Do you
I
need
agree
to
with
help out Elder?
the handsome man.
Handsome man.
and Elder realizes he hasn't really spoken to Chad and Darrow yet much at all. They've kind of just been over there, and Chad's been kind of flexing and admiring himself, and Darrow has been watching Chad flex and admiring Chad. And Elder says like, "Hey boys, welcome to the club over here. Let's get going, and we'll have time for that once we reach camp, I imagine." So you all embark on this journey, and you see that it's a very, very long and probably very arduous and tiring task. You're kind of walking into like constant sand blowing in your face and just like a dust storm. You're pulling up your shirts or your like robes or whatever you have over your face to cover yourself from this dusty like wasteland. And you get not too far, maybe just a few miles in. You've maybe been traveling for about an hour, and you see this big sand dune that has some rocks jutting out of it, maybe a cactus and some little things scurrying around. And you see a camel is backed up against this sand dune, and it's kind of like going back up on its hind legs and kicking at something. And you realize that the camel is defending itself against an attack from what you can see from the couple 100 feet away. As you kind of approach this sand dune, as you crest a hill, you can see it in the distance. This camel's defending itself against attack from what looks like this crawling, mutated beast, and you cannot really tell what it is from its form this far away. In the heat, it's kind of shimmering, and you just see this camel's like really kind of trying to stomp on this thing and get away from it, but it's backed up to this sand dune. What do you guys want to do?
What ho? A foe? Chad sprints immediately towards the beast.
Chad, no, wait, we don't know what that is.
I'd like
Alright.
to ask another game question real quick.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
I thought it was going to be answered, but do we have our items or are we itemless?
Good question. So you have your starting items that were kind of provided to you from your character creation, which is your weapons and whatever pack you chose, like your Dungeoneers pack, Explorers pack, whatever your pack you chose. So you have all of those starting items, weapons, packs, any little extra things like that. You don't have any large items, and you have no money.
Okay, thank you. Beyond that, we can continue.
Okay, cool.
What
So
is
you guys kind of 1 second. What was that?
The large item.
Like, you don't, if you in your backstory, maybe your character always carries around some giant thing. Like, you don't have anything like that. You kind of were just teleported with whatever was like on your person.
Or like a cannon, maybe.
Yeah,
That's
like if
kind
you
of
were
thing.
like
Oh,
riding your horse and carrying a giant wooden cross, like you don't have that right now.
Okay, so are we rolling initiative or?
So you guys are cresting this hill, and as soon as you see this camel trying to defend itself, Chad's just running down this sand dune, and he's like almost like slip and sliding down this thing, just like hurling towards it. Are you guys gonna follow after him?
Hell no!
Yeah, I'll
I'm
pull out
already
my
following Chad.
crossbow and follow.
I am not following this fool.
Okay, so the three of you without Goldu are running towards this beast, and you get about halfway between the sand dune and the camel, and it kind of snarls and turns its head, and here's Chad, just like this giant beast dragonborn man running towards it. Oh, 1 second, guys, we got some bits. Thank you so
God.
much, Kay. I appreciate it very much.
Can I
Thanks.
try to sneak and get closer? without doing
Absolutely.
that?
So while everyone's running towards this beast, and the beast kind of turns its head and notices the party, Goldu, roll a stealth check.
How do I do that?
Stealth is another one of your skills, just like perception. But I think you have 7
Oh,
stealth.
I have
so,
7. Yes.
Yep. So roll a
Still a
d20.
D20.
Yep. Thanks for the host, Kay. I really appreciate that. I hope you're
9.
enjoying yourself. So you rolled a 9 plus 7, so a 16. So as far as you know, this beast has not noticed you yet.
Hell yeah, baby.
Thanks for the host, Samurai. Hey, thanks for the host, Samurai. All right, so as the other 3 are making their way towards this beast, Goldu, you've kind of slipped down and are starting to flank it unnoticed. Because it's a little preoccupied, and the other characters were already running towards it first, they are going to obviously reach this beast first. So I would like all of you to roll initiative.
Even me?
Every one of you. Yep. Roll a d20 and then add your initiative to it. You can find your initiative on your character sheet right in the middle on the top under your name and your class and stuff. And then everyone let me know what you got.
Nice, Jinx.
I rolled an unnatural 20.
The unnatural 20. All right. Vampire.
I have no idea how this works.
So on the left side of the page on roll 20, if you see the little drawing of the 20-sided dice there, just just click on the d20 when the drop-down menu comes out. Just click on d20 and it'll automatically roll a d20 for you.
How do you add the +1 in like Samurai add?
Which dice do I click?
The d20, like on the left side of the page, there will be a menu with like a dice on it, and if you scroll over it, it'll be a drop-down menu. There you go. You figured it out. Nice.
All right.
So
Did you add your initiative to it, Donald?
So initiative is your character's kind of natural speed and ability and combat readiness. So like the higher initiative will go first in the turn order, if that makes sense. I know that it's kind of confusing, but don't worry about the mechanics and stuff. Also, Donald, stop rolling dice.
Yeah, I was just checking. I didn't.
I don't know how to roll with the initiative. I don't know if you
Yeah,
just click
I
Go
on
know
it.
to advanced
Yeah.
dice rolling, and it gives you the option to
Ah.
add numbers to it.
Cool,
Yeah,
thank
yeah,
you.
I found
Yep.
it.
Okay, so first in initiative obviously is Jinx with that 20. So Jinx, you are maybe 15 feet away from this beast, and now you can easily see that this thing looks like it used to be a dog of some sort, like a wild coyote type of like desert dog, and it's mutated and it's got like flesh falling off of it, and it's just this heap of blood and pus, and it's this feral dog underneath all of this like mutated flesh.
Well, I'm going to pull out my light crossbow and notch an arrow.
Okay.
And yeah, that's about it.
If you would like, I guess I should probably explain this right now. I'm not gonna DM this like super like hardcore rules lawyer by the books. I'm pretty open to you guys being able to like pull out your crossbow and fire, or pull out a weapon and attack in the same turn. I'm not going to be like super crazy about things, and we're going to go with like a pretty easy inventory management system. I'm not going to make you keep track of weight and stuff like that, as long as it's not like I'm carrying around 47 longswords or anything crazy. And as far as money goes, we won't be doing like copper pieces, silver pieces, gold pieces. I'm just going to simplify it all into just gold, and we'll keep track of it that
Dollar.
way. So yeah, it'll be super easy. So if you want, Jinx, if you want to attack this thing with your crossbow, you're more than welcome to. You don't have to take multiple turns to pull out weapons and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, if I'm gonna have to do that, then give me just a second. I will not only pull out the light crossbow, but I will ready my myself to perform a cantrip.
Which one was
Hold
that?
up.
Sorry.
I'll do perform warding flare,
Okay.
and besides readying my crossbow, that's all I'll do. I don't want to do anything stupid and attack and get myself, line of fire.
Okay. So will you
And be
explain
prepared
what that cantrip does for everybody?
Yeah, warding flare. It's one person. It's a self. It's instantaneous. And when I receive a melee attack, I throw up my hand in a distracting manner to create a small flash of light. The attacking creature has a disadvantage on the triggering attack.
Okay.
The
Awesome.
impact does not rely on sight.
So, since you brought that up, I'll explain to everybody in our party disadvantage and advantage on abilities. Some things will say in their descriptions that they give an attacker or a defender advantage or disadvantage. All that means is when they roll to hit, you roll 2 d20s instead, and then if it's advantage, they take the higher of the two numbers, and disadvantage, they take the lower of the two numbers. So, Jinx's cantrip, if he gets attacked by something, the attacker will have to roll 2 d20s instead, and they will have the lower chance to hit. So that's pretty cool. So kind of just assuming a defensive posture with your crossbow then.
Dude.
All right, so next up in the initiative rolls, it looks like it's going to be Samurai's turn to act. If you have any questions on what you can do in your turn, feel free to ask. Most characters, you can move your movement, whatever your speed is on your character sheet. You can do that full movement, and you can break it up as much as you want throughout your turn. You can perform 1 action and 1 bonus action every turn. And your abilities will say whether or not they're an action or a bonus action. And a regular action is like attack or climb or anything like that. So if you want to run up and attack this thing, or you have your like bard abilities that you've pre-selected that are on your character sheet, you can go ahead and do whatever you'd like.
All right, so Chad's a pretty fast dude, so I'm a little winded and parched.
Okay.
So I don't pull out anything as far as music. I just switch to my spear and try to get as close as possible as Chad.
Okay. So you all were part of like kind of close by each other in a line other than Goldus. So you guys were about 15 feet away from this thing. And what is your speed, Darrow?
It's 30, normal.
Okay, so you can move all the way up to the beast and attack it, or you are already like, maybe let's say you were like 2 or 3 feet behind Chad, so you have plenty of movement left. Do you want to just go really close to Chad, or do you want to go up and in front of him and defend him, or do you want to go attack this thing?
I'll step to Chad's side and take a poke at it.
Okay, so roll to hit.
It's just a straight G20, right?
And then your spear, I believe, it has, you can see the spear if you're wielding it in one hand or 2 hands. It has different, it's all the same, but different damage. And it has the +1 to attack. So you rolled a 7, +1 from your spear is an 8. And when you attack something, your roll is measured up against the...
So wait, is that just a for attack, right?
What's that? What was that?
That's just for attack, right? That's pretty bad.
Yeah, so when you attack something, your roll is measured up against the opponent's armor class. And then if you roll higher or equal to their armor class, then you hit, and then you roll damage. So you take this big lunging stab at this dog monstrosity, and you're kind of like trying to pull off like a nice flourish and really impress Chad with your combat prowess, and you totally whiff, and you kind of stab into the sand and you fall over a little bit, and then you kind of like stumble and regain your composure, and you try to like
Chad, did you see me?
Kind of brush it
I want to
off.
roll a perception check to see if I noticed that.
You did notice that. You absolutely noticed that. You kind of like, you saw him like go for the sweet move, and you like were kind of excited to see what would happen, and then you immediately kind of just chuckled, and you're like, okay, that's silly. So next up is this this dog creature, and it is standing like in between this camel and the group, and it kind of is a little bit torn between what it wants to do, and it sees that you all are like coming for it and attacking it, and the camel was just defending itself. So the dog runs up to the closest person to it, which now is Darrow, and it's going to do a bite on you. So it is going to, let me see here, I'm gonna have to roll some dice too, guys. I'm excited. 1 second.
This is why we never kept dogs on the ship. They're mean.
Oh my god! All right.
Oh my Jesus.
Okay, so the dog.
Oh,
I need to
fucked.
turn on my. I need to turn it so you guys can't see my dice rolls, but it doesn't matter right now. So the dog is biting at Darrow and it grabs you on the leg, and it is going to do 5 piercing damage to you, and it's going to grapple onto you. And one thing that you notice now that you can see this beast in its full like mutant form, underneath this like feral dog head, it actually has sprouted another head. And that second head is going to lunge at Chad because you were standing right next to each other. And it's going to take another bite at you, Chad. So Darrow, you take 5 points of piercing damage. So whatever your hit points are, subtract 5 from that. Oh my god.
Oh my God, I'm about to pet. Oh, what is this?
So
Is this actually a dog? Are we sure about this?
well, you can't be sure, I guess, but it seems like it's a weird mutant dog, right?
That's more of a general question for a party.
Okay, so this thing takes a big another lunge at Chad, and Chad, you are going to take 7 points of piercing damage.
Chad, my love.
Another head.
Who could have known it was going to happen? All right, and now it is, let's see, Donald rolled a 7 for initiative and Vampire rolled 5. All right, so Donald, it's your turn. You are pretty much right behind this thing now. You've been sneaking around while it was distracted, and now it's your turn to go.
I check its pockets.
Oh my God.
It has no pockets, but it does have some like bloody meat flaps, and you kind of like reach your hand inside of one, and you just pull out a bunch of blood and guts and stuff, and now your hand's just kind of gross.
Shirt man, why are you trying to give the mutant dog one of those things you
damage
stick
to
your
him?
finger up their butts? I
Um,
can't remember where.
So I'm not going to count that as your action or anything. I just thought it was funny that you tried to pickpocket like a flesh beast. You can still actually like take your turn.
I stab it in the back.
Okay. Do you have any information on like a sneak attack, how much damage that does or anything? I think you get a
I have a
bonus.
global damage
Get
modifier.
a bonus for a sneak attack,
Yeah, you
depending
get
on
a
if they can
bonus.
tell you're there or not.
I have like 1d6 sneak on sneak attack on
You
my.
do
Oh,
four, I
okay,
believe.
okay, that sounds right. So this thing does not notice you at all if you want to attack it, Goldu. So you are attacking it with your short sword or your dagger?
Can I attack what the 2 dagger at the same time, or how does it work? Because I have 2 dagger.
I don't think you have the like 2-weapon fighting thing, like which is an ability that you actually get to unlock later that you can make 2 attacks in one turn.
Oh. And then I attack with the short sword. If
Okay.
I don't get bonus from the dagger, I mean, I don't really know.
I think they both do the same. The short sword might be more damage, but so roll to attack.
Is it a d20? No, 1d3 plus 3 piercing it's on the short sword. So I do that.
It's 2 to hit. Your damage will be 1d6 plus 3 if you hit, but you have to roll to see if you hit first.
Oh, I have to roll d20.
Yep. Okay, and then you add a +5 because your short sword has that +5 to attack. So 15. So you actually are right up behind this dog, and you first you reached your hand into this like gross like flesh and just pulled out a bunch of blood. So you kind of see that it has weak spots and spots where it's like already bleeding from, and you drive this short sword into one of those spots, and it's like as direct of a direct hit as can be. So roll damage, which is going to be 1d6 plus 3 plus your d6 sneak attack bonus.
Okay.
during each player's turn, I'm going to have their character portrait with their stats pulled up on it.
Is it good?
Okay, so you did 10 damage to this thing. So you plunge the short sword into it, and it reels back in pain, and it actually falls over and is prone now. And it is no longer like latched onto Darrow and Chad's legs. So that was pretty nice.
Thanks, short man.
It looks like
That will
it's
cost you, my friends.
it's kind of reeling in pain now, but it's still okay. It doesn't seem like it's like on its last leg or anything. It's laying on the ground now. One thing I need to explain to you new players: each player's turn, and each round of combat is 6 seconds in real time. So just imagine this entire time you're fighting, it's in like essentially like slow motion. So everything makes sense from a gameplay mechanic point of view. David Windlow and Button Mash, hello, welcome to the stream. So next up, I believe is has everyone gone except for Chad?
Yeah.
All right, Chad, big man, you've kind of watched this chaotic nonsense unfold in front of you. You've seen Darrow go up and try to impress you, and Jinx kind of took this defensive posture, and Goldu got this really nice sneak attack stab off on this thing and has made it go prone, which means you're going to have advantage on any attack against this thing while it's laying down and hasn't really righted itself yet. And it's your time to shine, Chad. It's your turn.
All right. Well, not because it bit me, but because of its second head, just the mere existence of it, it like forces Chad into a rage, and he pulls out his warhammer two-handed.
Warhammer. Okay, so you're gonna take a big two-handed swing at this thing with the warhammer.
He aims for the heads.
The heads.
He wants to whack-a-mole.
Yes.
All right. So roll to attack, which is another d20. All right, so you add a +5 to that from your Warhammer, so you rolled a 14, which is good enough. You just two-handed overhand slam this Warhammer down onto the heads, and it kind of bounces off the top one and hits this mutant head on the bottom, and you see this head just splatter. It, like, what used to have two heads does not have two heads anymore. Roll damage, which for you is going to be 1d10 plus 3 bludgeoning damage. Chad, what's up, Chugga? Koopa Troopa, what a Chad. Yeah, he is a total
thing
Chad.
I need to ask. How do we see how do we see the modifiers for the weapons?
So if you go to your character sheet, it should all be right next to it in your weapons. 1 second, and I'll open yours up so I can kind of guide you to that. Darrow, where you can see in the middle of the 3 rows on your character sheet, where it says Cure Wounds, Thunder Waves, Spear, Dagger, and then the attack.
Would you believe I was looking at that and I just literally ignored it?
There you go. Okay, so Chad, you let's see, what did you roll? You got a 12 damage total. Is that right? Oh no, you rolled a D10 plus 3, so you got 10 damage. Okay, so you hit this thing, you explode the head, and it goes splat. And when it was actually trying to right itself, it still has like reeled back even further and is still laying on the ground and unable to, like, it's scrambling in the sand to try to get up. And it's taken a pretty hefty chunk of damage now, and it's really the spot where the second head was is just like a leaking stump now, and it's in real bad shape. So it's back to Jinx's turn now, I believe.
Yeah.
David,
I was
this is still our
confused
first
because
campaign.
there's no weapons or anything listed on my character sheet.
Oh goodness.
Read off what the other one is. What I have on my other character sheet, the light crossbow. It's I have proficiency, but it's 2 for proficiency plus 1 for dex for
1 second, David. I'll be right back with you.
3 total attack bonus, just so you know.
Okay. A nat 20, is that what happened?
Oh, that's impressive.
Nice. All right. So roll damage.
+1, but for natural 20 it crits, so times 3.
So you'll roll twice the amount of damage die, and then you'll add the +1 at the end for a crit.
Okay, so I just roll 2d8s.
Correct. All right, and then +1, so 13. So you had this crossbow already readied, and you had it trained onto this dog, and the second that you saw this opening when Chad smashed the head, you fired off another bolt directly into the first head that actually bit Darrow, and it flies right into the center of it and does a huge amount of damage. And this monstrous beast is just kind of wriggling around on the ground now, and it's losing a lot of blood and pus, and it's obviously no longer probably even conscious. And this camel that it was defending itself from this beast actually finally like lands one of these crazy stomps and just stomps the guts out of this thing and finishes it off, and it's laying there dead.
Yeah.
You guys have won your first battle. It was not a particularly difficult one, but I just wanted to immediately jump you guys into some combat just to kind of get you guys used to that. Give me 1 second so I can catch up with the chat here, and then we'll keep going.
Good.
Chugga, welcome to the stream. Sorry I couldn't
It's probably because it's not
immediately
moving.
say hello. King, hello. David, this is our first campaign still, so whenever we
You know
start
what?
the
I'm
second
not going to
one,
argue with you.
then we'll have openings
Good
for
food cheat.
new players. But feel free to hang out and
Well, that'll be
enjoy
a
the show still. Pringle, same to you. If you're
Go
interested in
post it, sure.
joining, we'll have
Yeah,
more
try
games in the
to
future.
Put this mount in your head.
Random British dude, hope you're enjoying yourself. Koopa Troopa, thanks for joining, and welcome to the stream. If you're new here, I hope you're enjoying yourself. We're having a lot of fun.
Impress. Do it.
All right, we'll go back to the party.
Curious what Elda did during this.
All right, guys. So as you say that, actually, Jinx, you kind of mumbled out loud, like, "What the hell was Elder doing while we were fighting this mutant dog beast?" And him and him and Kit were standing on the top of the sand dune that you all kind of charged down, and they kind of lazily walk down this sand dune, and they're kind of like high-fiving each other, and they're like, "Dudes, that was really sweet, nicely done. We kind of were just hanging back and staying out of the way of that brawl there, but you guys seem like you handled it pretty well."
You're not very pulling your weight, mister.
It's hurt. What do you expect? Do you want him to be first in line to attack it? I mean,
And
Yeah, you could use your body to block the damage.
he says, "Well, I am kind of on babysitting duty," and Kit kind of flashes him a little bit of a smirk and says, I can take care of myself. Come on." And you all kind of joke around
It's
about it
gonna
for a
go
minute.
extra, my friend.
But for now, you kind of take a look at each other, and do you guys want to kind of survey the post-battle scene at all?
yeah, I'll go check out what's up with the camel.
Okay, so after this beast was killed, you kind of walk over to where it's like corpse, like bloated flesh pile is kind of sitting there destroyed, and the camel is just kind of it seemed like it was really shaken up, and it looked like it may have even gotten a little scratched up and beat up by this thing. And you walk over to this camel, and you're kind of like trying to get it to calm down before you really approach it too closely, but it seems like it's doing okay now that that thing is gone, and it realizes that you all stepped in to help it out. It's a little skittish though. You're about maybe 10 feet away from it. Do you want to do anything?
Wait. What is the owner of the
Let's
camel?
approach it and see if we can get it to carry this still.
Maybe the camel's infected too.
Yeah, kill it.
If
Kill
that's
it.
the case, I'm infected.
Check.
Kill the
Thanks,
the
David.
handsome man. Kill it.
So
No,
I
we
can look at it. I
yeah,
can-
you guys are more than welcome to use your abilities and try to deduce if anything's wrong,
Can I roll
or you can
perception?
absolutely. I will get into that. One thing I do want to say is, if you want to use one of your abilities and you have an idea for it, tell me what your character is going to do instead of just saying like, "I want to roll an investigation check." Tell me, Chad's going to go investigate this scene and look at X thing or whatever, you know, just kind of do it as your character instead of saying, I want to roll to attack, say, I'm going to pull out my weapon and do this. Just if, does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. So like, can I use my perception check? Like Chad wants to use his perception check to see if there's any signs of like the similar infection on the camel that he saw on the wolf thing or
Right.
whatever.
Okay. So you guys are standing around and you realize that the camel has calmed down a little bit and it got a little bit beat up by this dog mutant creature, but it doesn't seem like it got any sort of this weird mutation or anything like that. And it seems okay.
We have to cut the limbs he got bitten. We have to do it.
You can't
first.
see any bite marks anywhere on him. He's actually he seems like he's all right. He just got a little bit roughed up from kind of trying to defend himself and scraped against the rocks and stuff like that.
Then I try to tame it and use it as my mount.
You're not even
I'm
tall enough to reach his
actually
eye.
going to walk over to it, and I'm going to use healing word, and
That's a
I'm
good
gonna see
idea.
what that does. An
Okay.
instantaneous creature of my choice. Range.
mean-
and hit points equal to 1d4 plus my healing casting ability modifier.
Okay. Is that a spell or a cantrip?
It's an actual spell.
Okay. So yeah, you actually walk over, and what is your like spell casting item? Like your oh, what is it called? Like your special like
A
trinket or
holy symbol.
yeah, your holy symbol. What is yours?
Mine is a rosary.
Okay, cool. Yeah, your spellcasting focus. Thank you, Koopa Troopa. That's a good one as well. So you walk over and you're holding this rosary, and you kind of like whisper the spell, and this light illuminates this camel, and it kind of looks around like, what the hell is going on? And it just instantly like looks like it's in way better shape. It kind of stands up straighter and looks around, and it's like, damn, feeling pretty good to be a camel right now. And it kind of like nuzzles you a little bit and spits on the corpse of the mutant dog, and it kind of is pretty chill now. You guys can
I try to
probably
climb
approach
on
it.
top of him. I try to climb on his back.
I grab him
Well,
before he
I'm
touches
pretty
it.
sure the Campbell can stomp on you too.
So while you guys are kind of like approaching it and getting close to it, it kind of lets you like pet it, and
I have short leg. I need
Goldu
a
like
mount.
jumped up on top of it, and it didn't really mind too much, but it just
It's mine. It's mine.
as soon as you jump on top of it, it just kind of sits down in the sand, and it like kind of rolls you off. It's not angry at you, but it's not going to let you ride on top of it.
Then I kill it and I hit it.
So Elder walks up, who has been like watching Kit and watching this all unfold, and he kind of like shows the camel to Kit and says like, I bet you've never seen one of these things before, and sets Kit on top of the camel, and the camel stands back up, and it's like, oh, this kid weighs like 40 pounds, this is no big deal. And the camel is now actually going to carry Kit for you guys.
I asked the handsome lizard to put me on the back of the camel too.
Okay, I grab him and I put him on top of the camel, or I attempt to.
So
I look on jealously.
now that the camel is standing up and it has excuse me, has Kit on its back, as soon as Goldu gets on the back behind Kit, the camel kind of like grumbles a little bit, but then it like kind of trots into the center of the party, and it's fine with it. Goldu can ride on the camel.
I look at the camel in the eyes and I know that I did a good job because, you know, like I ran at it immediately.
Right. So the camel like grunts at you and like makes like a horse type noise, like it's like snorting, and like the faintest sound comes out, and you think that the camel says Chad.
We got like a John Garfield dynamic going on.
Yeah. So you guys kind of surveyed the scene, and the dog creature has been slain. The camel is more or less seems friendly with you all now, and Elder kind of unloads some of his pack items onto the camel and kind of eases his burden. As to any of you that had any like backpack type items, the camel's now carrying that stuff for you, so kind of ease the load a little bit. And allowed you guys to continue on traveling through the desert. And what's up?
I'm gonna ask Elder if he will allow me to cast Cure Wounds on him. I want to go up and do it, but I also didn't want to do it as soon as I met him, just in case he was gonna stab us in the back.
Right. So you walk up and you say, "Do you see what I just did for the camel? I can obviously I can do that for you too if you want." And Elder says, I greatly appreciate it. I think I'm fine, but honestly, if you want to help out, it looks like your friend Darrow over there has a pretty hideous gaping flesh wound in his leg from that dog bite, and he's not doing too hot.
I don't need your stinking magic. I got my own magic.
All right.
Magic of music.
As soon
I
as
mean, I
he,
guess if he really wants, I can go help him.
as soon as Darrow says that, Elder just laughs and says, "That's true as well. I'm gonna carry on then. You guys decide amongst yourselves what you're gonna do." And
So I told Chad to come close.
Out of character,
a little ditty.
I have 6 HP, but Chad wouldn't admit that.
right. Chad's like pretty hurt, but like in
Yeah, I'm slightly below half.
so
Shadow-kun, do you need me to heal you?
I mean, I wouldn't say no, but I don't need it.
I pull out my bagpipes and start playing Chad, the sweetest beat he's ever heard.
Chad can't get enough.
So
of it.
do you have any actual healing spells, Darrow, or are you just playing the bagpipes?
I have a cure wounds.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of would have been way funny if you didn't and you just wanted to play the bagpipes.
He doesn't need to be seriously healed. He just needs to think healed. He
Yeah.
believes
He's
hard
like,
enough, he'll be just fine.
Temporary HP.
Okay, so your spells, you have cure wounds. So can you read that to me?
What am I reading?
Cure wounds, if you're going to cast that.
What am I reading?
What does cure wounds do, Darrow?
It cures wounds. 1d8 plus 4 healing.
Okay, I just rolled it just as an example in the chat on Roll20 if you would like to look at that. If you click on your spells and you click cast at level 1 or whatever, it'll say how much it rolls for and automatically do it, right? Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Okay, so you can use that if you want. So you kind of walk up to Chad and you just run a hand over where he was bitten by the dog, and it seems to heal over, and he's back to. He was already looking great. He didn't show any sort of pain at all, but the wound has sealed itself, and he's ready to rock.
Are you all right, Chatty?
Yeah, I think the music really helped.
All right. Hey, Jinx, if you want to help me out with this bleeding hole in my leg,
I mean, I'm still with the theory if you believe hard enough, you'll be just fine.
All right. Can you heal me anyway?
Fine. I'll walk over and
Thank you, hon.
Okay, as you guys are healing each other up and patching each other up, Elder takes the camel and kind of grabs a little tuft of its hair and starts to kind of direct it around the outcropping of sand and rocks and stuff where everyone was battling this dog thing, and Goldu and Kit on top of the camel are following, and he starts to walk back towards that horizon that you guys were walking towards with the tree line. So Darrow, you are healed for 9 in total.
Yeah. I realized that you didn't put the spells on my thing either, so I kind of had to go back and check on my other character.
We can update that now that you can edit it. You can update it.
I'll make sure to put it all in. I
After
just
the
want to let
game,
you
yeah.
know.
I apologize.
It's not a problem. I'm not worried about it. Just wanted to make sure that you knew, so you didn't think like, where are you getting this
No,
from?
you're good. I trust you. It's kind of the honor system here, so everyone can use their abilities. But so everybody's all patched up. This battle is over, and everyone is walking back towards the original horizon line now. That was the first goal before everyone decided to get into battle with this mutant beast. And let me see here. Let me check my notes. So you guys are maybe an hour after this battle. You're still walking, and you start to get a little discouraged. It barely seems like you're any closer to this mirage like horizon in the distance, and people just start kind of chatting to each other. And what do you guys want to say to each other now that you have a little bit more time? You're pretty much just out in the open. You can see that there's not really anything around. No immediate threats. Goldu's still just chilling on the camel behind Kit. Kit is he seems like he's getting a little tired, but he's still in pretty energetic spirits. Seems very nervous because he doesn't know any of you, but he's a kid and he's kind of still got that little bit of strange energy and wonder in his eyes. Any of you guys want to spark up a conversation with each other and try to learn a little bit about what's going on?
So I walk up to Goldu, walked alongside the camel, and I say to Goldu only loud enough so we can pretty much hear.
Okay.
And I ask him, you look like, some of the people I might know. And I kind of hint to some criminal type people.
Okay.
And try to see his reaction.
So Goldu, what would your response be to that line of thinking?
Well, I tell him that the Guldu is a very honest worker, but sometimes you need to push some people to pay on time,
A
Just
fist bump
honest
him.
business. Yeah, dagger in the back, something like that,
Totally understand, dude. I just held out my fist to get the fist bump, and he just ignored me.
It cracks me up.
So you guys kind of have a mutual understanding of each other, and you have a little bit of this bond over the unsavory side of things, and you both understand that if push comes to shove, that you probably would both be a little bit more willing than the others to kind of do whatever you had to do to make it out, whether that means for the party or for yourselves. Anyone else have any questions or anything they want to say to the other members of the party? You want to strike up a conversation with anyone else?
Chad wants to talk to Elder.
Okay.
Hey, Beardy Chad, what's your whole deal? You got a lot of stuff. You look like you win a lot.
Yeah, pretty much all I do is win, Elder says. And then he chuckles and he says, "Just kidding. I have a business that I was attending to before I was so rudely imprisoned in Waterdeep, falsely accused, might I say. And a lot of strange things were happening, and I was taken away from the business I was attending to and ended up in this cell where both this little Kit here and a woman who I imagine you all met as well and teleported us into this desert for some reason. But yeah, I do. I have some things, and they've been either gifts or acquired through the businesses that I've dealt in, and that's about all I want to say about that right now. Kitsu, welcome to the
I say
stream.
to Goldu, yeah, you notice how this guy has like a bunch of stuff? We could probably get a good amount of money from that if he decides to part ways with it. We should probably make this as lucrative as possible for him.
Yes, we already have a contract. You need to pay us for saving him. Then we can sneak on him when he sleep and take all his stuff.
That might be a little
you-
hard with the big dragon.
Shh.
As you guys are kind of whispering to each other and stuff, Elder kind of like turns around and like winks at you, and he doesn't say anything, but he just keeps
Wait,
walking. And
You cannot wink. You have a bandage on his an eye, right?
yeah, he winked at you underneath the blindfold, and you couldn't even see it, but he did it.
Okay.
Yeah, you speak too loud to Goldu, man. We're gonna get killed out here.
So that was actually even more intimidating. Like as you guys were kind of whispering at him, he like turned around, even though he's blindfolded, and it looked like he was looking in your direction, but he was smiling and kind of just chuckled a little bit and carried on. And as you guys are kind of just carrying on your conversations and just trying to pass the time throughout this desert, it's getting unbearably hot out, and the sandstorms are continuing to whip dust and sand into your faces. You see a man in the background, and he's pretty far off. He looks like he's maybe a couple miles in the distance. You can just see this outline of a little guy in the distance towards the almost oasis like mirage of the tree line in the background, and he is like crouched down over a box, and he doesn't notice you at all. He's facing away from you towards the tree line, and he's just crouched over this little brown wooden box that is kind of half buried in the sand, and he looks like he's rummaging around in it. What do you guys want to do?
It might be a merchant.
Merchants out here in the
Sure.
Businessman.
this time of day. That I'm not sure where you're going to get any customers at, but sure, go up ahead and see if we'll sell you
I kind of murmured lowly, just enough for me to hear it. Jet's kind of dumb.
Chad's like 99% sure it's a merchant.
Yeah, Chad's
Wait,
kind of like
what
puffing
is
his
the
chest.
time
He's
of
like,
the
guys,
day?"
I've seen this before.
It's merchant. Merchant.
For us.
The sun is pretty high in the sky, but it's starting to come back down again, Goldie. So you can kind of tell that it may be early afternoon, maybe 2.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's pretty hot. Chad can't stand being hot. He's too cool for that.
Okay.
Maybe this merchant can sell some water for us or something.
That would be helpful. Do you want to try to approach this merchant, as you seem to call him?
I look over my shoulder to see if anyone's joining me, and then I just start walking towards him.
Literally, no one moves.
Okay, so Chad begins walking towards this man. He's still pretty far away. Like he's like a mile in the distance. So you guys have some time. Chad's just kind of walking towards him. Like he said, Chad's getting like very overheated and kind of struggling. He's just slowly kind of making his way towards this guy. The rest of you stand back, and Elder's still like making pace towards him as well, but not because he's like trying to get to the guy. He just was continuing on the way that he was going already with the camel, and you're all just walking and kind of surveying your options. Any of you have any ideas about what you want to do in this situation?
I
Alright.
stay on the camel.
All right, well, I say to us 3 or 4 or 5, wherever many it was. I say if push comes to shove, I can give him a little pep talk, and he can probably kill that guy pretty easily. So it's not big.
Okay, so you're saying like you all as a party could probably take this guy, so you're not too worried about it.
Well, we not try and kill every single person we see.
That's
It is
not
the
what
first
we do.
one.
Let's not kill the.
Hey, I understand you're holy man and all, but
We already have an injured.
we're in the middle of a desert. There's nothing.
Exactly. Maybe he knows a quicker way out of here. What if you
You
know?
can torture him to information. Good idea, my fellow redskin.
Redskin number one.
Okay, so you guys are all kind of making your way, and you sped up a little bit in order to catch up with Chad, because you realize like we're gonna try to talk to this guy. We might as well stick together as a group, and we know if anything goes down, we can try to take this guy. But let's see what he knows first, and why he's out in the middle of this crazy desert by himself. And you get closer to him, and he hears you from like an unnaturally far distance away. There's nothing to disguise you guys. Like he could have seen you if he turned around, but it seems like he never turned around and saw you first. He just like snapped around and heard you and knew you were there immediately. And he like really quickly turns around, stands up fully, and it's a very tall human man in like really put together leather armor, and he has a big bow on his back, and he's got like a purple cloak, like a hood and like a short cloak and cape that's kind of draped over this leather armor. And as soon as he sees you, he sees that you're traveling and you have a camel and a child, and he is extremely shocked. He takes a step back and he kind of like kicks a little bit of sand over the wooden chest that he was inspecting, and then he like grabs his bow off of his back, but he doesn't draw it, and he just is standing his ground and kind of looks inquisitively as you approach, and you guys are all getting closer to him, and he says, what's that?
The chest he was putting the sand on?
So he was looking through it, and you could see that he was rummaging through it, but as soon as he noticed you were there, he kind of like kicked some sand over it to try to like hide it a little bit from you.
I look at Goldu. Goldu looks at me. We both look at the chest and we both nod.
So as you're maybe 15, 20 feet away from this guy as you finally approach, and he's been like standing there like guarded, and he holds up a hand and says, all right, that's close enough. Stop right there. How's it going, everybody?
Let's sit and chat in.
Okay. So Chad, what do you want to do?
Wait.
Want to browse their wares?
What were you gonna say, Goldie?
I want to talk to Chad. I'm going to say, I'm going to hide behind your back, and you're going to walk slowly with your hand in the hair, you know? But like, we cool, my friend, and everything. You talk like the slang of the people, you know? And then when we're close, you jump on him, and I stab it in the neck, okay?
I take a solid no.
So Chad kind of takes a step forward, and Goldu has hopped off the camel and is like kind of trying to hide behind Chad.
Goldu's like fat though.
No, I'm small.
So Chad is like walking. He's like walked maybe 2 or 3 feet forward with his hands up in the air and says, "Hello, I've recognized this obvious merchant in the desert here, and I would love to browse your
All like
wares."
shaking her head back there.
And Goldu's like tiptoeing in Chad's footprints behind him as they walk forward, and this man says, "Stop right there. I don't want you to come any closer to me." And it's really, really funny that you think I'm a merchant. But I'm not, unfortunately. I wish I was, because I wish I had some stuff for myself, not only that I could sell to you, but I'm actually out here looking for things as well. I mean you no harm, but I don't want you to come any closer to me because I obviously don't trust you yet. What are all your names before you come any closer? You don't have to worry about me, but I do want to make ourselves acquainted before we get any closer here.
Jinx will speak up and will hold out his water skin and offer if he wants any water.
You had water this entire time, Jinx?
Oh, no,
Are you kidding me?
water skin? And
Wait.
nobody asked.
So you're not a merchant,
Thought we were bros.
and you had water the whole time?
I can even create water at will. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Are
pretty
you
good.
kidding me? You can summon rainstorms? You one of those types?
Okay.
I
Sorry.
love those
It's
guys.
only idiots.
Especially in
Would
the
you like some
desert.
water?
Okay, so this man is really like almost like slapping his knee, laughing at this point, and he just like puts an arm on his hip and he's like, "You mean to tell me you've been traveling through this desert with a magic man who could conjure water and none of you knew it?" And he just like roars back laughing, and he's a really big tall man, and he's just kind of dying for a second, and then he stops and he's like, yeah, actually I would like some water. Toss that over here, thank you.
Hey, let's be
Jinx
honest. If you
will-
see this guy, would you even ask him for anything?
My name is Jinx. I don't know who you are, but Jinx will toss the water skin about 10 feet to the merchant.
All right,
Who is the merchant?
it lands right in front of his feet, and as he bends down to pick it up, he says, "So I understand that you're all probably pretty confused. It seems like you don't really know what's going on, as our half-elf friend here has stated. Would you ask this guy for anything?" "I don't know. I don't know any of you. And from your demeanor, it seems like you guys don't know each other either. So I'm very curious how did you find yourselves here? And I'm sorry, it was so rude of me. My name is Vex. I'll introduce myself. I'm a ranger. I'm out here exploring and trying to find some supplies for myself and my companion, who's not here right now. And I'm trying to just get by and find some goods to survive on out here. How did you all find yourselves in this wasteland?
Literally woke up and we're here.
Yeah, I just kind of got. I was on my ship, and then now sand.
I was gonna go get laid, but then I woke up. I know I drink a lot. I know I'm a heavy drinker.
Yeah, we can smell it over here.
And then I was around these people, and half of them are idiots.
Excuse me? Oh wait, I'm not the half.
That's good. The other half I don't get.
So, what was that, Chad?
He's talking about small Chad.
So Vex still just chuckling very heartily, and he seems like he's like a really pretty cheerful, happy guy, and he just shakes his head laughing at you guys, and he turns and looks at Elder and says, "Hold on a minute. So all of you seem to have been placed here somehow. You don't know how you got here. What's your story?" And Elder turns to him and says, "Yeah, same here, man. I was going about my own business in Waterdeep, and this crazy warlock lady teleported us here, or me here, and then I woke up and it seemed like they all had been teleported here at the same time from their prospective locations." And as soon as Elder said that, Vex kind of takes a step back and actually trips over the chest and says, "Did you just say Waterdeep?" And Elder said, "Yeah, that's where I was. I was doing some work there." And Vex just immediately, like, he was laughing like in a funny way before, and he like spits laughing now, like spits out a little of the water that he was drinking and says like, "Yeah, that's pretty rich, man. I know we're trying to talk to each other to gain each other's trust, but I don't need to hear any of your total fiction right now. I won't ask you anything else. Obviously, you guys don't want to tell me what's really going on here. So
I had a ship.
I think I'm gonna.
Don't be associating me with them. I don't know them. Two, I don't trust them.
You wouldn't walk around looking like a demon.
So Vex is even more confused now. He's like, "So, man, you guys really have no idea what's going on here at all. I'm gonna head back now." And he kind of like pulls the chest out of the sand a little bit, and he starts to like pick it up and sort of back away from you. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna head back to where I came from. You guys have a good one."
Water skin back?
So
You leave?
What's up, Derek?
no, go ahead.
Oh, he says, "Oh yeah, sorry, of course, I don't want to take that," and he tosses it back to you. And then as soon as he tosses it back to you, he looks over and sees Kit on the camel, and he's like, "Okay, I can't trust you guys, but I guess I can't really leave you here either." And he kind of drops the chest on the ground and puts a foot up on it and kind of is questioning himself, and he's wondering what to do. And he's like, "What's that, Daryl?"
I was gonna say, well, if you help us out, we can carry your chest on the camel. You just take the short guy off.
He kind of laughs at you a little bit, and he's like, "You know what? Fine. That sounds pretty good. This thing was actually heavier than I thought it was going to be, and I would appreciate the help." So he also looks down and he says, "Also, I noticed your little friend behind the dragon man here. Feel free to come out anytime."
The bluffing, I don't know. Don't trust.
I'm like doubled over now.
So Vex walks over and he tosses the chest up on top of the camel, and kind of straps it on behind Kit, and Kit leans back, and it's kind of like a seat for him now, like a little bit of a rest. And he's like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to have to take you guys back with me. I don't know what else to do, but I can't leave you out here in the desert like this. You're obviously not equipped mentally to handle the environment. You're lucky that you have someone that can provide you with water, but it's dangerous out here, and I think we should get out of here. Maybe once we get back to my camp, we can set things straight and figure out what exactly is going on, but we can't worry about it now, so we got to go. And he just starts walking towards the horizon, and you feel like you're closer than you have been this entire time, and it actually is in view now, and you can see that it's this coastline of trees, like tropical palm tree looking things, and you can kind of start to see a little bit of a mirage and vision of water behind it, and the horizon is kind of further out than you thought it was, and the tree line has kind of opened itself up, and it's some palm trees and stuff, and he's walking towards it.
Now that we're done with this idiocy, anyone wants some water?
Character
now
voices.
that
We
they
do
know I
need to
have
do
it?
character voices.
I guess I didn't ask earlier. Do you happen to know how to conjure water? And could you conjure some water for
I
me?
do know how to, in fact, create water.
With the sweet
Well,
beers,
that's
please.
great.
Please.
Water in my mouth, quick.
Toss
I
them
can
over.
barely play my bagpipes.
I can't simply, make it for you to drink, but if you give me like a water skin or something, I can definitely fill it up for you.
I throw a water skin at his face.
Yeah, have it.
While we're walking, I'll be doing that.
All right, so you guys are kind of stumble and try to catch up to Vex here, and you're all passing around the water, and everybody's spirits are getting a little bit enlightened, and you're feeling a little better now that you realize this entire time you could have been drinking water in the middle of the desert, and you all have a pretty hearty chuckle over your silly predicament that you've now solved. So you're walking, you catch up to Vex, and he's walking pretty quickly, and he says, it seems like we still have a lot of daylight left, but it goes faster than you think around here, and we're not totally safe, so we need to hurry and get to my boat.
You got a bolt?
And as soon as he says that, yeah, Darrow, you perk up and you ask him about it, and he says, yes, I'm not from this desert originally. We have a camp somewhere else, and I travel here to look through the sands and any unmarked places that I haven't been to yet, and I'm trying to find supplies, medical supplies, any possible food, and other survivors, and try to salvage whatever I can and bring them back. So yeah, I bring a boat here, and I come here every couple weeks on these supply missions, and I'll be able to take you guys on my boat back to my camp when we get there.
What are you, a pirate, man?
No, I'm a ranger. I'm just a ranger. And he kind of like jiggles his bow in front of you, and he's like, see, just a ranger.
Yeah, a pirate ranger.
And he's like, what did you say? A Power Ranger? What's that?
Pirate. I mean, I'm nothing against pirates, but back in the island, you guys kind of jerks, so.
And he says, no, believe me, there's no shortage of pirates in this world, but luckily I'm not one of them. I don't think pirates do much salvaging. I think they're more of the stealing type. So hopefully we don't run into any.
Is the boat big enough for the camel to take?
And as soon as Goldu speaks up and says that, Vex turns and says, oh, so the little man does speak. And he actually asks a very good question. It's a rowboat. So
That's not a boat.
So
That's wood.
yeah.
He lied. No trust.
So we'll have to deal with that when we get to the coast, but I'm not going to be able to take all of you at once. And he just kind of keeps walking, and he says, oh yeah, you guys can check out that chest if you want. I was rummaging through it, and I took what I wanted out of it, but the rest can be yours. I really appreciate you guys kind of coming with me and trusting me. I know I don't really understand what's going on yet, and I don't fully trust or believe you guys, but I know it takes a lot to just travel with someone in a deadly desert. So feel free to take whatever you want out of there.
This guy's good by my book.
Speaking of that,
David, absolutely.
could you tell us
I'm-
where we
I'm-
are,
I'm
what
down to
land
do
this
that.
is? You know, the general vicinity of where we are.
In the desert.
It's nice. That's
Uh,
some great info. Trust me, I get that. That's amazing. I still want to know where I am.
So
Stinks the brain.
as soon as Goldie said we're in the desert, Vex just like really cracked up at that one, and he's like, that's about it. The land that we're in doesn't have a name anymore. It's been lost to time, and all we have are these outcroppings of rock and destroyed civilization in this desert. My companion, who I didn't bring with me on my salvaging mission, is back at our camp on a little island about a mile off the shore. And it's the only place that we've found that is like safe enough and sustainable enough to live. But I make these salvage runs every couple of weeks to go and seek out these ruined cities and wrecked little spots where people used to live at, it seems. And I'm just searching for answers to that question myself. I don't know where we are either.
Wait. Can I ask how long you've been doing this?
Really, as long as I can remember, we've just been trying to get by. Years, I would say, but I can't be sure. Time seems very strange here. Like I said, it seems like early in the day and we have a lot of time, but like I said, it goes quicker than you think around here. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's all I can tell you.
No big roads, no trade routes to other countries. You literally have no idea where we are.
Sand, good guess, man. We'll see.
So you said you laughed at us when we said Waterdeep. How far is Waterdeep from here?
He said I have no idea how far it is. I don't think it is. Waterdeep. Where are you guys from? Where are you all from? And out of game for 1 second, the realm that Waterdeep is a city in is called the Forgotten Realms. That's like the main realm in D&D story nowadays. You are all from there. You're not all from Waterdeep. You're all from various places. You can make up your own village or whatever if you want to. We can get into the backstory of each individual character in later sessions. But you are all from the Forgotten Realms, essentially, is what it's called. So he asks, where are you guys from?
Well, I can't really tell you where I'm from directly because of pirates, clearly. But I'm from the realms.
And he kind of looks really quizzical at you again, and he's like, okay, I'll have to have my companion explain to you guys a little bit. He's much more knowledgeable about the kind of questions that you're asking, but I don't think that I'm going to be able to tell you a lot about what's going on here. I only know that we've been here for years and we haven't gone much further than where you found me with the chest. We've been mostly inhabiting the island, which is a fairly small island, but it's big enough that it took us quite a long time to build our shelter and explore it fully, and we've mapped it out. And on these salvage missions, I mostly just seek out the ruined civilizations, and I spend a couple of days at a time every few weeks while I have enough supplies, and I haven't made it more than maybe 20 miles inland on the desert in any one direction. So I don't know what else is out there, but all I know is the island and the desert. We've found some texts in one of the ruins that may be of use to you guys, but like I said, I'll have to let my friend be the one to explain all that when we get there, but we need to hurry onto the coast so we can get there before it gets too dark.
Guldu asked him if he know about the two-headed dogs.
As soon as you say that, he said, "Did you see one?"
He
Yeah,
didn't
it
They
the
were
crap out of
killed.
me.
And then
got bite.
as
He
soon as
infected, right?
as soon as you all start mentioning that, he said, "Okay, we need to go now." And he starts like ushering you towards the coast, and you're a good maybe 10 or 15 minutes away, and he starts like really like tugging on you guys and starting to run. And he said, "I can explain more about that later, but we have to get out of here."
I think we go now. He's a
Let's
little
go to
skitsed
lake.
off. He didn't mind fighting all of us,
If
but he's a
things
little
go
scared of these
running.
dogs.
I asked Shad to carry me because my small leg cannot keep up.
Who's Shaq?
I think he said Chad, yeah.
Shad.
God, your accent's horrible.
So
Jack
Chad,
picks him up.
all right. So Goldie is now on the back of Chad, and you're all sprinting through the desert. You're more energized because you've had this water, and you kind of found a companion, and you're all
Thanks,
in
Jinx.
pretty good
I
spirits
froze
now.
the water.
Oh,
into an
nice! You
icicle. It's a popsicle that I just lick.
nice.
So you
That's a
mean to
very
tell me
good
you
idea.
can freeze water and you didn't say anything the
I
entire time,
have
Jack?
ice breath. I'm an ice dragon. All dragons can breathe something.
You didn't tell us, though. How are we supposed to know this?
Well, you just, I mean, it's dependent on the type of dragon you are, your skin color.
I don't know,
So
Chad. I'm really falling out of love with you.
Elder kind of just looks back from his running, and he just says, "Worry about that later. We have to go." Obviously, this man is worried about these dogs, and you're all sprinting, and you kind of get to this palm tree grove, and you are passing it, and the sand of the desert turns into a little bit more of a damp sand of a beach, and you've made it. You can see the coast now. It's like a really pristine white sandy coastline with what seems to be an ocean. You can see in all directions. There's no bigger continents across it, but you can see the island that Vex was talking about, maybe a mile off the coast in the middle of this sea. And you see his rowboat pulled up onto the shore, and it's a very small boat. It could probably only hold about 3 people maximum. And you're all sprinting down the beach, and Vex stops, and he's doubled over, breathing really heavily, and he says, "Okay, we can stop here for a second. This should be safe for now." And he's like breathing really heavily and just kind of sits down on the beach and stops for a second. What do you guys want to do?
Thanks volunteers to stay.
Chad volunteers to
party.
stay.
Chad's a big boy.
I don't mean to be rude to all of you
Chad
guys.
wants to kill another dog.
This is dangerous, but seeing everything that's going on,
Wow.
be here to make sure that anyone else that can be hurt is healed.
I was
Okay.
thinking the same. I can at least heal if I'm here with somebody. So maybe we
Okay.
split up the party that way.
So
Having 2 healers in the same place is probably not the best thing.
while you guys are kind of discussing
I jump in the boat without asking anyone.
Shotgun.
Vex stands up pretty quickly and kind of grabs you by the scruff of your robe there and tosses you out. And while you guys were discussing, while you were all discussing this, who would stay, he said, "I'm glad that you guys are bringing this up, and it seems like you have a little bit of wits about you, because I'm only going to be able to bring 2 of you. This boat can only hold about 3 people, and obviously I have to row it and take you to where we're going. So I can only bring 2 of you, and I'm going to tell you right now, it's not a good idea for that kid to stay here overnight. It's about a full day's trip for me to go there and then come back and get you guys, so it'll have to be in the morning when I come back for you." So
Can I make
Right.
a suggestion?
So take the
That's-
kid.
There are 3 around us.
yeah, so the scene is there's like an ocean, and then the beach, and then like a line of like palm trees, and then the endless desert that you just emerged from.
Here's my recommendation. Elder, best of shape. I mean, he doesn't look like he'll just die on us, but he doesn't look like he's in the best of shape.
Okay.
Handle ourselves. I think him and Kit should go first.
Right.
here, and the next time he comes back, Morningwood and the small one to go onto the boat.
But what if he doesn't come back?
Yeah, what if it
So,
betrays?
so we
and
put Goldu and the kid on, and then we
Actively
have
wants
him
to
come
happen.
back.
No one wants to happen.
Then we have an island
I'm
all
sure
time.
he'll be back.
We
So
trust him.
he's
Wait,
standing.
wait.
He's Vex is standing here while you're all talking about all of this, and he says, "Listen, I assure you, I mean no harm. This is, and my mission is to go out and find medical supplies and supplies to survive, and survivors out here in the desert. I am not going to leave you guys here. I'm just as worried about this as you are. I promise, if I can take this first group of 2, and then I'll come back in the morning with a bigger craft, and I'll be able to take all of you who stay overnight here. But
Leave the chest.
okay,
Hmm.
fine, that's a
I
deal.
want an assurance. I want assurance.
Oh, and okay,
Insurance?
so you want
That's
like
what the
a
chest is.
collateral, you say?
I
Yeah.
mean, in reality, we don't owe him anything, or he doesn't owe us anything.
So he says, "No, I understand. I'm not going to just take 2 of your friends away from you with the hope that I'll come back, and I'll."
You could be a slaver.
He he
Don't you think he'd have slaves out here collecting stuff, bro?
he takes his bow off of his back and holds it out to you, Goldu, and he says, "Hang on to this for me. I'll come back to pick it up in the morning, and you guys,
The arrows.
and you
I want
can."
the arrow too.
And he drops the arrows on the ground. He says, "You can keep those and the chest, and it's all yours."
They're both
And,
the same size as him.
And it is actually the bow. It's a very great green wooden longbow, and it's about 4 feet tall. It's this huge, crazy looking thing, and it looks like very fine craftsmanship. And he says, "Believe me, this is worth it for the collateral. I will be back for this bow. You can trust me." And he says, "Well, as long as you guys are fine with it, I think that's a good plan. I don't want to leave Kit here overnight, and obviously Elder is injured somehow, and I think my companion will be able to help out with this a little bit and maybe know what's going on. He knows a lot about the island and the desert and the past of this place from the texts that we've found. He's been able to decipher some of the information, and I think he's going to be able to help you. So if that's what you guys want to do, I need to leave now so I can get there in time before it's dark, and then I can come back for you in the morning with a bigger ship."
I want to make sure the blind guy doesn't leave on us. He's still obvious for saving him.
Yeah, if he tries to run, stab him in the leg.
Who's gonna try to run?
Out there.
Elder's not going to try and leave us.
Wait,
he's
what if,
obviously defensive of the kid.
what if he doesn't come back because he dies on the island because he doesn't have a bow to defend himself?
Oh shit!
Wait, he's going to
Okay,
his
this is a
friend.
lot of what
He's a
ifs.
big boy. He can fight.
So
Really?
Going to his friend doesn't have a bow.
Elder actually pipes up now and says, I think this is a good plan. I am injured, and I would like to get to shelter and meet this companion that Vex speaks of. But you guys trust me. I'm not going to let him kind of screw us over here. And if anything crazy does happen, I will come back for you, even if Vex is unable to."
Alrighty.
Bye bye.
All right, so they get ready to take off, and Vex says, "Well, I will be back first thing in the morning. I'll try to leave before sunlight, so I'll be here in the morning. Make camp here for the night. Do not go back into that desert, whatever you do. If the dogs are already this close, they're just moving closer. Don't go back into the desert. If you can, overnight, make camp and maybe search the beach for supplies, so when I come back for you, you guys will be able to carry some of those on the bigger ship that I come in with, and we can carry more supplies back to the island."
Alrighty.
Sounds good.
You be safe now.
We'll see you later.
Okay, and they load Kit onto the little rowboat, and Elder and Vex push
Be
it
good,
off
kid.
into the sea, and they both hop on and start rowing away. And Kit kind of looks at you guys on the beach, and he's like, you can tell maybe he's never even been on the ocean before, and he's like starting to like wobble in the boat, and he's like looks a little nervous, but he starts to like nervously wave at you guys as they kind of get further
Don't
and
worry,
further
kid.
away.
The ocean's your friend. She'll never harm you unless you harm it.
And that right then, as soon
Unless
as
you
you say
take
that,
that
a
risk.
giant shark eats them all, and they all die. Just kidding.
Well, guys,
Just kidding.
I never said the ocean was to the bee.
So
At least now we know.
yeah, that was all a test. No, they're fine. They're just rowing this little boat towards the island, and the water's calm. It seems that just rocking them back and forth a little bit as they slowly depart farther and farther away. You guys are just kind of alone on the beach now, and there's some palm trees, and it looks like miles and miles of coastline, and that's about it. What do you want to do?
Since Gold,
how about we
How dark is it right now?
It's like late afternoon now. It seems like you've been traveling pretty much all day. I'd say it's probably maybe 4 or 5 p.m.
All right.
Chad wants to
Let's
do a
talk about
perception check for supplies.
So back
On
to
the
Chad
beach.
and his ice breath, by the way. You telling me you're walking air conditioning, and we've just been hot as hell.
yeah, I want to take some palm tree
Yeah, let's get some hammocks together, dude.
and make a
Have
bed.
Chad blow some air on us.
Okay, so if you guys want, you can all kind of split up and comb the beach together and go check stuff out on your own if you would like.
I grabbed the short guy by the collar and pulled him with me.
Who you talking by the collar?
Short guy.
Oh, I stab him in the hand, but not too much.
All right, he kind of pricks your hand as you grab him.
All right, jerk.
I take the big bow. I take the big bow and I shoot the camel so we can hit it tonight.
Okay, so
You
the
can't shoot pupper.
the camel direct hit in the neck, and it slumps
God.
over and it's dead and it's bleeding, and
I do a dance of victory around the body of the slain beast.
you can see
Yeah,
in, you can
ah,
see in the
yeah,
distance the
He's a
rowboat
freak.
is the rowboat is like halfway to the island now, and Kit actually
Gotta say, quit. Probably saw that.
Kit saw you shoot the camel, and he actually like let out a little bit of a shriek that you could barely hear, and he's crying.
I wave
And-
at the boat and I say, and I do a thumb up. I say, nobody, I cry, nobody, it's to eat.
All right, and so Goldie's going to kind of start preparing this
the
camel
animal.
and gut it and turn it into a little bit of a meal here. But as you shot it, the chest actually tumbled off the back of the camel and popped
That's what I
open.
was gonna say is I was gonna go check out the chest. but-
Yeah, finally,
Yes.
after almost an hour of me introducing the chest to you guys, somebody wants to actually check it out.
Hey,
Still
I
want to check it out why Big Tall Guy was near us, you know?
He
Look
gave it
pretty
to you.
confident with that bow. Just because someone gives it to you doesn't mean they won't shoot you for opening it.
Fair enough. You guys do whatever you want. So Goldie is
Maybe a trap.
gutting this camel and gonna try to make some meals for you guys for the evening. And who wanted to go and check out the chest?
Thanks.
Okay, so
Before Jinx goes, Jinx, do you know how to start a fire? You know, I thought I asked. You can make water. How can you make fire?
Yes. And Jinx will toss him a tinder box.
okay.
That's not what I asked.
So Jinx is like walking over to this chest and tosses Darrow a tinderbox and maybe says, here you go, get to work, buddy, and walks over to the chest and squats down next to it, and the contents have spilled out onto the sand after the camel fell over and the chest fell off the camel's back, and there's 20 gold pieces that fell out of the chest that Jinx has now picked up.
Wow. Is there anything else, or do I have to roll perception for that?
You can investigate if you'd like. The contents have just spilled out on the ground, so
I wonder why that guy didn't want any of the gold pieces. It's
so-
kind of weird.
I'll make sure to comb through everything. I got no problem doing it.
Okay. So you take a look around, the gold spilled out. Everyone kind of saw these things fall out. So as soon as you pick up the gold, it looks like Darrow and Goldu and even Chad are kind of like eyeing the gold that you pick up a little bit.
I leaps.
Where would a
lick my
chest
lips.
come from in a place like this?
You saw that it was buried in the sand, and Vex was kind of digging through it.
Yeah, it's just
That's
weird.
all
There's no other Chads around. So who put the chest there?
That's a good question. So there's 20 gold pieces that you've picked up. You can decide what you want to do with those, Jinx. There's a piece of rotten fruit that looks like it's been in this chest for a long time. It's like a kind of just like a mushy, like maybe it used to be an apple or a pear or something, but it kind of is just like a moldy blob now.
Okay.
There's also a small leather pouch, and there's a note.
I will completely ignore all the gold.
Okay.
I will
rush
pick
to
up
the
the
gold.
apple, the note, and the pouch.
Okay.
Use purify food and water to purify that fruit that is dead.
Okay.
Oh.
So when you
I'm not eating that.
when you do that, this thing kind of just blooms back into this delicious looking, juicy, ripe pear, and it kind of just springs to life in your hand, and you have a fresh pear now that you can continue to keep in your inventory if you'd like. You pick up the pouch and open it up, and it contains what looks like a quill and ink set that perhaps was used to write the note that you found as well. And it's a little leather pouch, maybe like I would say like fanny pack sized. So you can keep that as well. It's like another little extra storage bag for you.
I will definitely keep the note, the pouch, and the pear. All
Okay.
for me.
Cool.
Man, I sure wish I had a pear.
So you stash the pouch and the quill and ink set and the note then?
I ask what the note says.
You absolutely can. You're going to read the note. Would you like to read it out loud, or are you just reading it to
No, I'm
yourself?
not going to read it out loud. I'm just going to read it to me, myself,
Okay.
and I.
We all
So
noticed him take the note, and we all walked towards him.
so I'm gonna say this kind of as a little meta game type of a thing. Anytime something like this happens, I'm gonna have to read the note to you guys, obviously. So now Jinx's character will know what this note says, but none of your characters will know.
You can't send him a message.
It's not. If we get to something like that, I will do that. If it's like a secret, this is just like a public note that you found. I don't think there's any reason your characters would be unwilling to share this information. But for now, Jinx is the only character that knows what this note says, and it says in this quill and ink handwriting on this piece of strange green, like fancy paper. It like looks like a really well put together, like professional setting type of a note paper. And it says, "I'm heading towards west to see if we're nearing the sea. I'll be back before nighttime. I left some supplies in case of emergency in the chest. Stay by the fire and don't go outside, or don't let the dogs know that we're nearby. They're infected." And then it says, "Love, Dad." That's all the note says. So you can hang on to that. You can tell everyone else what it says, or you
I'll
can.
just keep it to myself for a moment.
Okay. So Goldie was kind of slicing up the camel into some flank steaks or something here, and Jinx was checking out the chest. He left the gold on the ground, so I think Darrow probably was eyeing him over while that was all happening. And do you want to go over and grab that gold?
The gold, you said?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll go over and grab a fair amount.
Okay. There's 20 gold pieces on the ground. How much do you want to take?
Roll
Go
a
ahead and
d20. Roll a
take,
d20.
Go ahead and take 6.
Okay, you're gonna take 6 gold pieces, and as you do, Chad kind of turns and is looking at you. And Chad, what's your response to someone finding 20 gold pieces and taking 6 of them?
I just immediately just kind of like copy his exact movements and posture, and just take like just like a handful, and just like let me just roll like a deep my desk. I just grab 4.
Okay, so you guys both have
I don't even look.
half of the gold is now gone, and Goldie, like while he's cutting the steaks, obviously he was watching all of this. Goldie, are you gonna take any of that gold?
I smirk and say, "Hey, pathetic ones," and I take all the rest.
Okay, so you now have 10 gold, so you guys can add that to your inventories, and you all have your various amounts of gold. We will keep track of this stuff. Just keep track of your inventory on your own. You can write it down or add it to your character sheet, however you want to keep track of stuff. And it's just going to be the honor system. I'll trust you. If it's too outrageous, obviously I'll know that you're bullshitting me. Don't tell me you have 6,000 gold or something when we come back to play next time. I know you have 6 or whatever. But
Does it auto save when you enter
the
number?
character sheets should save after you do everything. I'm not sure if you have to click save anywhere, but just explore a little bit. Make sure you keep track of all your stuff. If we absolutely need to, we can check the VODs and stuff like that to keep track, but hopefully not. And it's going to be fast and loose. There's not going to be any time where it's like, if you don't know exactly what's going on, it's going to be the end of the game. So don't worry about it too much, but try to keep track of your own things as far as your character sheet, inventory, and your health and stuff like that, and we'll try to keep things running smoothly. So you guys have collected all this gold. What was that, Darrow?
I'll say while I'm over here with the gold in the chest, I look at Jinx and just don't say anything. I just stare at him.
Okay. What do you do, Jinx? You have Darrow just kind of staring at you, maybe impatiently.
Jinx pretends not to notice.
I just gotta go,
You guys can play this
I
out. Yeah.
talk to the group and say, "Go make a fire. Use this. Go. Meat is ready. Need to eat."
I mean, it's nice if I had some kind of paper for tender or something like that, huh, Jinx? You got any paper for tender?
Can you conjure any paper?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you know how to conjure paper? We have to ask.
Chad is awesome.
No, I don't know how to conjure paper, but there's plenty of wood. If you didn't notice, there's plenty of wood.
I mean, if you know anything about the
Go on,
sea and
go
the
on.
beaches, you know that that's pretty moist. Kind of need some tender.
So,
Don't care. Figure it out yourself and leave me alone.
Right.
all right.
Go
So,
work. No
I say we slap.
Now why are you all looking at me? I don't breathe fire.
No one's looking at you.
Chad looks
Kind
kinda
of gauge you
disappointed.
appropriately nowadays.
Chad looks like shocked. Like no one's ever even brought up the idea that everyone couldn't be looking at Chad all the time. He's like confused. Like that's not even a thing that's possible.
Get a stun effect on him.
Yeah.
Chad thinks he's having a nightmare.
Yeah, he's like, what do you mean everyone's not looking at me? You're out of your mind. That doesn't even make sense. And Chad kind of just like walks off down the beach on his own.
He grasps his love letter and he looks up at the moon and he just like looks back down, closes his eyes and clutches it to his chest.
All right, I love it. So
All right, I'll just go. I'm just gonna be frank here. What the hell was that letter, dude?
you're talking
Chad's
to
like way like
Jinx.
far out of distance.
okay, you're talking
You
to
can't-
Jinx.
You can't hear.
So
I'm not gonna be on this island.
let me just say really
Alone,
quick,
and you're not gonna-
of the starting items, Chad started with like a love letter, so that doesn't have anything to do with the note that Jinx found, just to avoid any confusion there.
All right.
So Jinx, Darrow is kind of like confronting you now and says like, I saw you pick up that note, like what's going on, man?
Jinx made it clear that Jinx was flat out ignoring him. Didn't act like it. No, what?
So, being that he's trying to ignore me, I just kind of pull out my drum and just start banging on it in rhythm to what I'm saying. What was in the note?
So this is like the equivalent of like the Twitter like clap hands in between each word. And yeah, you're like, what was in the note? And Jinx, like it's pretty much impossible to ignore Darrow at this point, because not because he's like intimidating, you're just like super annoyed. Like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
You want to know what was in the note?
Yeah.
100% sure you want to deal with this. Do you want to have this burden on your shoulders?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now pay attention. No. Come here. Even. Let me tell you.
2 steps
Just
towards
know
him.
it is. Yes. Okay. Jinx will go right up into the ear. Ed, don't do anything stupid. Stay by the house.
Right. What else?
And Jinx will walk away.
Okay, I like it.
I
So
don't like that guy.
Donald asked, is it already nighttime? It is getting closer to nighttime. It was like late afternoon, and it's been maybe 30, 45 minutes since the rowboat departed now, and you can see the sun is like starting to go down behind the island on the ocean, and it's starting to get a little cold. You notice that the sea breeze plus the desert behind you, like there's not a lot of area for the heat from the sun to stay absorbed nearby, so it's getting cold quickly, and you guys are still just kind of bickering on the beach, and Chad has kind of walked off on his own and is exploring a little bit. He's kind of stumbled across a couple of seashells, and he's sticking close to the water, and every once in a while you see like a little puff of frost breath come out of him, and he's kind of just playing with himself and like staring up into the sky longingly for whatever reason, like he misses his other Chads. And
can Chad does he have his disguise kit with him?
do you have a disguise kit?
Yeah.
Absolutely, you do have that. Yeah.
Okay, so now that it's
Shush.
cold, Chad's in his element, so he wants to like sneak behind like a mound of sand, like one of those sand hills,
Okay.
and just like quickly disguise himself and try and like crudely look like the like some weird, terrible dragonborn version of the ranger guy who's like on the boat.
Okay, so you pop behind like one of the palm trees really quick, and everyone was like kind of fighting over the note and the gold and stuff, and you pull out your disguise kit and you try to think back on what the ranger guy looked like, and he was a really tall and like strongly built human, which even then is about 2 feet shorter than you, and he was wearing like full leather armor and a purple cloak, and as you can see on the stream here, Chad has only pants on. And so you open your disguise kit, and there's like some makeup and like a couple of pieces of cloth and maybe like an eye patch and some like random disguise things, and you find like a small like black makeup thing that could maybe be disguised as leather, and then you find like purple lipstick, and you can tell me how you want to craft your disguise out of that.
I kind of just like tatter it all together into one big mess around like my neck and my head
Okay.
into some like weird showl,
Okay.
and then I also keep like the eye patch over my eye.
Okay. So you are like kind of setting this disguise up. Goldie, what are you doing now? You have kind of prepared this camel, so you have a camel skin now, which you can add into your inventory if you like. You have a skinned camel, so you can maybe use that as leather or a blanket or something, and you have all of the
I'm gonna
meats
use
from
that
the
to
camel.
make a small tent, you know?
Okay.
I'm gonna go take some wood and I make a tent with the skin.
Okay, cool. So you kind of walk a little bit closer to the tree line, and you are in between the chest. The chest is on one end of the beach now, and Chad is kind of on the other. So you're in between there, and you've kind of cleared out a little spot, and you've fashioned this little camel skin tent, and you're kind of sorting your goods over there in the tent, and you have this little stack that you've prepared of like camel steaks, and you're just kind of hanging out, and you're kind of impatiently tapping your foot, like waiting for someone to start this fire for you. Jinx and
So-
Darrow, what are you guys up to?
Real quick, I'm gonna ask out of the game. Goldo, do you have water skin like in your inventory?
I do have, my friend.
Then that's good.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Jinx would have noticed it, but since it's only imagination, I can only tell so much. Jinx is seeing that he's setting up the thing, and he's gonna go over there and ask refill water, and then he's gonna go do that for everyone else.
Okay, so Jinx is kind of starting to be a little practical about things and realizes like, okay, we actually need to prepare ourselves for this evening stay here, and starts to go and collect water from people. And you go and refill Goldu's water skin, and then you saw where Chad was headed off to, so you start to walk down the beach towards where you last saw Chad. Darrow, what are you doing now?
I'm done with talking to Jinx, and I snatch my drum and go looking around the tree line for some broken branches and things to make a fire with the tinder kit.
Okay, cool. So you
and I intend to bring it back over to Goldo, start a fire with
okay, cool. So you do all that. You kind of know exactly what you're looking for, because like you said, you know your way around like a coastline, and like this type of climate is much more familiar to you than the desert. So you go up to these like palm trees, and you know that like only the branches that are maybe like a little bit higher or farther away from the water are going to be dry enough and not kind of like waterlogged enough to actually use. So
right.
You kind of do your thing, get a decent armful of tinder and firewood and stuff, and you pack it back over to Goldu, and you guys get to work kind of setting up the camp, as it were, and you're starting your fire with the tinderbox that Jinx tossed over to you. So Jinx is walking down the beach towards Chad, and kind of confused, like was like pretty sure where Chad last was, but then doesn't seem like there's much going on the beach. And Chad, you're standing behind this palm tree, and you just put your disguise on. What do you do?
I'd like to roll for either performance or deception.
Tell me what you're gonna do, and then I'll tell you what you need to roll.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna like walk out and just pretend to be the guy.
Okay, that I definitely am gonna say is performance.
Because I'm Vex, not Chad.
Yeah.
I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
I'm glad I asked because I have a bonus to performance.
Awesome. So yeah, roll a performance check.
Okay, I think this is with all my bonuses plus charisma.
Nice. Okay, so Jinx is kind of just like strolling down the beach, like a little slowly now, because he realizes he's not really walking towards anything now that he hasn't seen Chad. But as soon as he starts to think that, and he like is about to turn back around and just go help out around the camp, Chad kind of walks out from behind the palm tree, and he's walking very silly. Like usually this Dragonborn has like a very like strong gait with the tail keeping him balanced, and he's like got very good posture. But Chad is now like kind of like strutting a little bit, like trying to act like he's walking like a human man. And he has his same clothes on, but he just has makeup all over his face, and it's purple, and he is trying to look like he has that like purple cowl on, and he has like a black leather like a scarf almost to look like the chest armor that Vex was wearing. And he walks up to Jinx, and in like very, very strange common language, because Chad speaks common and Draconic, although Chad's common is like got a pretty thick Draconic accent. He tries to pass off as a human. And what do you say to him, Chad?
Hey, it's me, the ranger guy. I have some terrible news. I lost the boat. It was eaten by the two-headed wolves. There was a three-headed wolves. One ate the boat, one ate the kid, and one ate the old man. I don't know what to do. I just got back.
Hi, Chad. Do you want to get your water refilled?
Did I get you?
Yes, Chad, you got me.
Yeah,
Do
got
you
him.
want to get your water refilled?
Yeah, sure.
That could not have gone any better. That was amazing.
Good.
So Jinx, it's pretty obvious right away. You you noticed what was going on, and you just kind of play along with wonderful Chad there, and you refill his water, and you kind of pat him on the shoulder, and you're like, well, Vex, and you wink at him. I'm gonna go back and make camp. You're free to join us and have some dinner whenever you feel like it, buddy. And you walk back
Oh,
towards
I
camp.
wish Chad was here so I could talk to Chad. Chad is so great. Where's Chad when I need him?
Chad, what do you do now?
Okay, I enter the party like into like the opening where I can like talk to everybody in like an equal range.
And you're still trying to do this.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you all kind of are in the camp together now, and these other guys have the fire going, and Goldu has kind of stuck a couple of flanks of this camel meat onto some sticks and on his dagger and his short sword, and he's kind of cooking them all over the fire here. I guess Chad disguised as Vex. You walk up, and what do you like to say?
It's me, Vex. I'm back. Oh no. Oh my god. I can't believe it. There was a dog at the shore, and I gave you my bow, so I had nothing to defend myself. And then it ate all the things. It ate the boat and the kid and the old man. What are we gonna do?
What the fuck? You lost the boat?
Yeah, we lost the boat. And the dog, it ate the boat. We have no boat now. My companion, he's trapped on the island.
Well, good job.
How did you get back
imbecile.
then?
I swam the whole way.
How far?
I don't know, like probably like all day. It's nighttime now.
I'm just gonna roll over. Can I roll for perception?
Absolutely, yeah.
They'll never know.
Let everyone know what you roll there.
That's plus
Okay.
6 for my modifier, right?
Sure.
Oh, plus 2. My bad. Plus 2.
Okay. So you got a 12. So
I guess I kind of know.
no,
but not really.
I will explain to you. So every time there's like a check that you have to roll something to figure out, it can be a different thing. Like when you attack somebody, you have to beat their armor in order to hit them, right? Let's say if you're trying to disarm a trap, you might use your perception or something like that to figure out the trap, and there's like a certain number that you have to beat that you don't know about, and the DM doesn't have to tell you that number. It just tells you if you succeeded or failed, right? So each different check that you might have to make has a different number that you have to beat, and you don't always know what that number is. I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't take a whole lot of perception to figure out Chad is not Vex. So you definitely already know what's going on.
So I kind of stand up, look at him, and I go, 1, you're not wet. 2, you're like at least 2 feet taller than Vex. 3, your skin is pale white. And 4, you have horns. and I can still see your tail.
Chad's
What do you know?
sweating. Chad thinks he's got this. He's just so close.
So Goldu, you were like kind of cooking stuff over the fire, and you were like playing along with Chad. What are you thinking?
I just have a question outside the story. Investigation is used for what?
Investigation would be like, so perception would be maybe if you were like looking around trying to see if anything was there that you hadn't noticed yet, and investigation is going to be like if you know what you're going to try to check out. Investigation would be like that, or if you have a clue and you want to see if you can decipher anything from the clue that you have, like that would be investigation.
Okay, thanks. Well, I tell Chad to go get some wood for the fire, or he's not eating.
Okay.
Chad looks down in disappointment once again and goes off into the distance.
So I think after like everyone has finally, like all of the other party members have called you out, you finally like you take off the
No,
like,
he keeps the disguise on.
you keep it on.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then you're just like really bummed out, and you just go and collect some firewood.
I use more lipstick.
Okay, I like it. So, you guys are setting up camp for the night, and you have your fire going. It seems like it's going pretty well. The camel skin tent actually seems to be providing pretty good shelter for all of you guys. It was
Me?
like
No, just me.
a huge.
It's my tent.
It was a huge camel, and Goldie is just like hogging the entire tent and not letting anyone else
and
get
I
inside of it.
And I have
I'm like periodically kicking sand into it.
bedroll too. I have a bedroll that
Okay.
I put inside.
Do all
I
of
get
you other
all
guys
the-
have bedrolls as well?
I have a,
Yes, I have one.
yeah, my things on. I have a
I think
blanket.
everyone's pack should probably contain something like that. So, okay,
Yeah, I
Goldie
got
is not letting anyone into his tent, so everyone kind of just like makes their little beds and camps around the fire, and you guys all fall asleep. And,
I will actually not be stupid, and I'll
Okay.
keep watch
okay. So you're
Yeah,
gonna,
I'm gonna.
because
Do
I
you
don't
guys
feel
wanna-
like having two-headed dogs can kill us.
do you guys want to discuss maybe like a guard rotation or something?
I have a question for our party. How many people have dark vision? I guess.
Good. That's a good question.
I do. I know. Jinx. Jinx has it.
Yes. Chat. I mean Vex.
I don't believe.
Let me check and see if you do.
so.
Dragonborn
see
do
it.
not usually have.
I don't
dark
think
vision.
you do. No. So a good like rule of thumb in 5th edition D&D is like everybody except for humans usually does, but I guess Dragonborns don't as well, but I'm almost
Yeah.
positive that Darrow, Goldu, and Jinx all have dark vision.
I'm already
Alright.
asleep.
I immediately. I'm already like I tucked in.
Okay, cool.
I'm
So
I'll
Darrow
stay
You
up
can
and
probably cover.
Pass
Yeah,
up, and I'll wake up one of you.
you can probably cover it
do
between both of us.
Darrow and Jinx, both you guys kind of just decide that you'll both take a shift as a guard throughout the night.
Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe one of you for 4 hours while the other one sleeps, and then the other one will switch.
Yeah, no, I'll stay up for the first watch.
Okay.
It'll be about 4-5 hours or so. Now I'll wake you up.
Is it possible for me to at least attempt to craft an igloo out of the sand and with my ice breath?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You go for it. Let me see what skill.
Let me, like,
I'm loving this.
Roll
by the
for
way.
that.
I'm gonna call that a, let's see, survival. So roll
Alright.
survival. So you rolled a 12. Sure. We'll say that you like kind of like
Plus 1.
fashioned a mound of sand and you like froze it with your frost breath, and it wasn't like really big enough for you to fit inside of, so you kind of are like laying on your bedroll with your head in an igloo that's like just slightly bigger than your head, and
Perfect.
it looks like you're just wearing like a weird frozen sand helmet and you're sleeping on the beach.
Beautiful.
And you peacefully drift asleep inside of your little cone of cold there.
I also dug a trench for my tail so I can
Okay,
roll.
cool. I like it. So you like are just the weirdest looking piece of person sleeping on the beach ever, and you love it, and you're super at peace. You feel like you're sleeping right at home in the White Dragon Iceland or whatever, and you fall asleep, and everyone.
I do this while they discuss
Okay.
when they want to do watch.
Okay, so you've fallen asleep. Goldie's passed out in his tent. You're all pretty full of this actually pretty delicious camel meat, and Jinx is standing guard. Is there anything you want to do during your watch, Jinx? Seems
Yeah,
pretty peaceful right now.
To it, I'll cast Detect Magic just to be on the safe side.
Okay. You cast Detect Magic, and the only thing that you notice is like a pretty
The Chad. Is it
faint
Chad? I
glow
still got it.
out of the igloo around Chad's head.
Okay, yeah, I had a feeling. Yep, group. I'll go like I don't know, 30 minutes walk. 30-minute abyssal sand area.
Okay.
Try and look for anything.
Okay. So
See if
you
anything-
you kind of
Pay attention.
wait for everybody to fall asleep a little bit, and you realize that the beach is pretty calm and peaceful, and you make your way up above the tree line, and you walk towards the sand, and you're just looking out into the darkness, and you can see in the dark pretty well, but you're still letting your vision adjust a little bit because of the big open desert. There's really not much for any of the like little bit of light that there is to bounce off of and reflect towards you at all. So it pretty much just looks like a big dark open wasteland, and
I hear anything?
the wind is picking up really, really heavily in the desert, and it's whipping around, and like the sand, you can see the sandstorms that you guys were dealing with earlier are really, really bad now, and
I
like
can't hear like any dogs.
you don't hear anything at all. No, you just hear the sand blowing, and it looks like probably not a great idea to go out into that.
Well, then that's pretty good.
Okay.
Don't really do much.
All right, so you will probably just go back towards the tree line and maybe post up against one of the palm trees and just try to enjoy yourself as little as you can.
Scratch that.
Okay.
I'll pray a little.
Ah, okay.
Then that's what I'll do.
That actually makes pretty good sense. I like that. So you find a good little peaceful spot during your watch, and you pray to your God. Would you like to say anything about what you are praying for, or what your God is, or anything like that?
Yeah, my god is known as the greater deity, and it's a chaotic neutral god, and it has I have it right here, which is really nice, which I'm happy about. Yeah, it's a space, knowledge, luck, divine rank.
Okay.
I pray for knowledge, and I pray for freedom to myself.
Interesting. Okay.
I
So
want that to come up more in my story, but I'm praying for knowledge and freedom for myself.
all right, I like it. That's interesting, and we'll have to keep that in mind. You seem like you're pretty focused on your prayers and your worship for a few minutes, and then you kind of look back up and see that everything's pretty peaceful. It's been a few hours now, so you go and tap Darrow on the shoulder and tell him, "Hey, your turn, man." And you.
No, that's not how I would do it.
Oh, okay. You do it then.
There was a dick. I walk over there. I will take one. I will take both my hands and scoop up and dump it right on his face.
Okay, so
And try
Darrow,
and
you
stand into his bed area. Hey, get up. I'm tired.
all right, Darrow, you are woken up with a face full of sand.
I don't like you. You know that? You could have just woke me up. Like, it's not necessary. Come on, dude. Come on. Come
I
on.
was unaware
Come
of
on.
the fact that I had to care if you don't like me.
I suggest you watch your back, man.
I should just you watch yours as well.
No, it's a pretty
And
nice
you know,
back.
Jinx will completely ignore him from then on out. In fact, he will act like he doesn't exist and just lay down
All
with
right,
his blanket.
so it's officially Darrow's
Fight me
watch.
while I'm sleeping, you mongrel.
So Jinx is already just like totally forgot that you exist and just is peacefully going to sleep now. Darrow, you're on guard.
I kind of do an about face while kicking sand towards him and just kind of walk away.
Okay.
I guess I just I go find a tree maybe.
Okay.
Maybe make an attempt to climb up. Do I need to roll for that?
Let's see. You're gonna walk up to the tree line and maybe try to climb a palm tree, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I would say that's probably like acrobatics or athletics. Probably acrobatics if you want to roll for that.
Alrighty. Jesus.
Okay, so you find a pretty nice looking palm tree that actually like It seems like a pretty good height. It's taller than the rest of them. You'd get a pretty good vantage point on this tree. It actually has like really nice like you know how like palm trees have like scales on them. It's pretty much perfect. Like if any tree in the world was climbable, it's this one. And you step onto one of these scales, it's a really good foothold, and you're climbing up, and you're maybe like 10 foot on the tree, and you reach up and you like step your foot onto one of the scales on this tree, and it snaps off, and you fall into the sand, and you're not hurt or anything, but you tumble into the sand, and you look around, and you're really, really glad that there's not anybody else awake right now to see that.
Kind of say to myself, I'm so sick of this damn sand, dude. So sick of it.
You hate sand. Okay. So, yeah, you...
I hate sand. Of course, it
there you go.
gets everywhere.
There you go. Star Wars reference for everybody. So, Darrow fell out of a tree. Okay, so Sand in the chat says it would be athletics. Acrobatics would be if he fell off and tried to do a trick to land on his feet. Okay. Either way, you rolled a 5. So good to know for the future. Thank you, Sanzilla. I'm glad you're still here.
Athletics anyway.
Yeah, you have the same skill in each one, right? So you kind of pick yourself up and brush the sand off yourself, but it got into your shirt and your pants, and you just have sand everywhere now, and it's just irritating as hell. And you even got some sand in your bagpipes.
I kind of give out like a really loud sigh, but no one hears me because, they don't care about me.
So you're like pretty visibly like annoyed. You're like, of course this would happen.
Yeah, so I'm like shaking my bagpipes and I'm making all types of noise.
Okay, so you're like swinging your bagpipe around and like trying to get the sand out of it, and the air like flows through it and makes like a really annoying like bagpipe squeal. And Chad like rustles in his igloo, and he seems like he was stirring a little bit, but you notice he's probably just having a dream about Chad, and seems like nobody woke up from that, luckily.
All right, I kind of settled down and just I guess I'll just lean against the tree and just keep my eyes open.
All right, so
anything that's happening. Use my big elf ears in the air.
There you go. Nice. So you maintain your guard, and you are just posted up against this palm tree, and before you know it, time is passing, and you kind of catch yourself like nodding off a little bit, and you're staring out at the ocean and thinking about being on your ship and how you were teleported here, and you miss where you were, and you miss the ocean. You miss your ship, not some weird random guy's rowboat. You want to be back home, and you're just curious about what's going on and staring out at the sea, and you kind of start to drift off, and you fall asleep standing up against this palm tree, and next thing you know, it's morning, and you look up, and everybody else is
my pants in morning. What's going on?
Exactly. So you wake up and you kind of just shuffle around and try to hide that a little bit, and you see everyone else is still asleep, and okay, let me address this really quick. Sanzilla in the chat said, shouldn't he be staring out into the desert? I feel like more dangers would come from land than sea. Yeah, absolutely. And he was at first. I think he was probably watching for like the dangers, and after like multiple hours of just like absolutely nothing going on, Darrow being like a seafaring like ship captain type of a guy, like he couldn't help but like just watch the waves, and just naturally kind of like lulled him into security.
I am what I am.
And fell asleep. And so you woke up, everyone's still kind of chilling on the beach asleep, and you maybe woke up a couple hours or like an hour before your guard shift was supposed to end, and the sun is barely starting to peek up over the desert horizon through the palm trees, and you see past the island on the horizon, like to the side of the island, coming up over the darkness of the water, a huge ship, like the biggest ship you've ever seen.
A squealing absolute excitement.
And it's bigger than any ship you've ever seen or been a part of. It's like a gigantic, like this is a like Navy sized ship from a very substantial Navy. and it's coming up over the horizon. And yeah, you shriek in both curiosity and excitement, and everyone jumps to their feet and immediately sees where you're looking and sees the ship coming. And that's it for today. That's going to be the end.
No!
Chad.
Chad sits up and he forgot he was in an igloo, and he just like smacks his head on the igloo, and then just like has to
Like frozen sand stuck on his arm.
Then he goes for round 2 and smash.
does it again. Yeah, there you go. And you smash through the igloo, and you're like, "What's going on, everybody?"
Stands up from that position.
So that's it for today. That is the cliffhanger that we'll leave you guys on. You've awoken the next day from the beach, and you see this ship coming up over the horizon towards you.